Every publication you look at today going with that Arsenal are monitoring the situation closely. Remember, he worked very closely with Mikel Arteta when Arteta was assistant manager at Manchester City. Sane's even come out before in the past and spoken about how much Arteta helped him. Is this a deal that could get done? He can play on the right, he can play on the left. He would be brilliant backup to, brilliant competition to Bukayo Saka, but it's one that we're going to have to keep our eye on.
Would Sane be a good option for Arsenal?
Be a great option because we saw in the last couple of seasons at Bayern Munich that he can not only play out wide on the right-hand side, obviously taking some minutes from Saka, who has to play a lot of football for Arsenal, but also can play centrally in the number 8 position as well. So he's developed his game since he left City. At City, he was more of a pacey wide wing. I remember Sterling on one side and Sane on the other, but he's really developed his game, he's evolved. He did struggle a bit last season in terms of goal scoring, but he's a player that has a lot of quality, is Premier League proven as well, and will just add depth to this Arsenal squad. And we've talked about it in terms of strengthening when you're in a position of strength, and that's what Arsenal have been doing this summer. So the Sane move or link makes sense. It's whether they can get it over the line, like you said, the player prefers to stay at Bayern Munich, but if he surplus the requirements there, then he'd be another great addition to this Arsenal squad.
At the beginning of this month, the 2nd of July, we talked about the German mystery player that could end up at Arsenal. I picked three. I said Schlotterbeck, Mittelstadt, and Andrich. You said it could be Gnabry, Julian Brandt, or Schlotterbeck. Now it's looking likely that it's not none of them. Now, we did mention the likes of Kimmich and Sane, but we did say those are not really secrets, Those players are really well known. But according to Timmy's and Ticks, all reports linking Leroy Sane to Arsenal, on reports linking Sane to Arsenal, I believe this is what the mystery player was, who the mystery player was. The other day, I got an update that it was off because Bayern Munich couldn't secure their targets. And then this was reported by Plettenberg. Arsenal are monitoring Leroy Sane's situation. However, the player's focus is on Bayern. The current tendency is that Sane will stay and extend his contract. Now, we've been told that this is the mystery player. Now, do you think there was ever a chance of Sane joining Arsenal, though?
I think the chance is still there. And the chance might actually go away if Bayern 100% fail to sign Desire Doué this summer. But if Bayern invest money in Desire Doué, Serge Gnabry is injured. That means that they have to keep him inevitably. They have signed Michael Olise. There is Jamal Musiala in that team. There's a big possibility that Sane leaves.
I'm muted, sorry. So Sane, it would be a good backup for Saka. So I don't believe Sane would join Arsenal. It's not because Arsenal is not a good team for him or anything like that. No. It's because would Sane want to be a backup for Saka? That's the thing, because Saka is not going to be a backup for Arsenal. So that's why I asked, is there a chance of him really joining Arsenal? Because what would we tell him? Are you going to start on the left side? You used to play on the left side for Man City before. But are we going to convince him that, hey, you're going to be a backup for Saka? He's not really a backup player because he's not that old. So do you think he'd really be attracted by, the project in terms of being a backup?
I think that there are a couple of factors at play here. I think his contract situation at Bayern is interesting. Yes, he wants to extend, but do Bayern 100% want to give him a new deal at the conditions he wants? Because do they value him the way they valued him a year ago? No. Now they have new machines, they have new managers, they have new coaches, and they have new players. The other thing is the relationship he has with Mikel Arteta. That is one thing I'm looking at, and I'm like, okay, this is something that can actually come into play. And it has come into play a couple of times. Alexander Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus as well, and then Inaki Keina attracting David Raya as well, in goal. So it is something that's
also a set piece. Also, you have a set piece coach.
Yeah, also you as well. Yeah, so it is something that has worked for Arsenal before, attracting players that have worked with Mikel Arteta and have a relationship with them. And I'm going to say this. I think the best of Sane we have seen was when he worked with Mikel Arteta and he played as a proper winger. That is the best Sane we have seen. He was young then. He was on fire from Schalke 04, and he was really, really brilliant. He had lightning, pace and things like that. But I still think there are some elements of that in his game. So I would say the relationship with Mikel Arteta, I don't think Bayern need him as they needed him 1 or 2 years ago. And also the opportunity of coming back in the Premier League and maybe, proving to Manchester City. Arsenal have done this, and Mikel Arteta has done this. We have tried to give players an opportunity to prove to the world that I am this good. Martin Odegaard is one of them. Like, Mikel is so good at saying, I'm going to save him. I'm going to turn him around. Kai Havertz is the other. He's so good at saying, I know inside you're good, but the world never saw that. And because if Sane retires right now, no one is ever going to talk about Sane. I think Sane would have his name behind Mario Götze in conversations in German football and European football, because German Götze has that iconic World Cup moment that none of us ever will forget. None of us, right? So I would say at the moment, Sane needs to prove a point before he turns 35, and maybe Mikel Arteta, picks up his phone. We know how the conversations go. You have something to prove. I have a platform for you to prove that by helping me to win the Champions League and helping me to win the Premier League. Are you up for a challenge? I don't think so many players are going to go, I've given up. I think many players are up for a challenge. It's what we're hearing with Mikel Moreno. He wants to come back and just give his career that bit of climax. So I would say, there is like a 4 out of 10 chance that it could happen.
There's a time, Sane, as you said, when you're playing for Man City and Sterling on the right side, they were absolutely incredible. They were destroying teams. They were scoring a lot of those tap-ins, like, run, cross, tap-in, run, cross, tap-in. They made it look so easy when David Silva was there as well. Now, I'm slightly skeptical that he'd join us because he wouldn't want to be a backup. But if you have a backup like Sane to help out Saka on that wing, you've taken the game to the next level having a player like this. I actually don't know how old he is exactly. Do you have an idea?
28.
So you're signing a lot of 28-year-olds, huh? It's a 28 club now. So it would be interesting. But would you guys take Sane, and how much would you be willing to pay for him? And that's the last question for you, because you're on Sane. How much do you think Sane is worth?
Now, recently, I thought about the wingers we were linked with, and I was like, does really Sane have the Sane elements, speed, quick, physical, like he was at Man City? And I'm like, yes, he still has them, but it's declining. So he would not be my first priority, but I would take him over nothing, and I would take him over a player like maybe Neto, who is a little bit expensive at 50 million. I'd also take him over.
I know